All right, hello and welcome back. Brett here with clickmail.co. So in this video, we're going to look at one last option for automation, and that is robotics. And I know initially that sounds kind of silly, kind of goofy, because in most cases, that's not really going to be practical for most business people, especially if we're offering services on the internet or if you have a church or a Christian ministry. Robotics aren't maybe the go-to, and that's why it's last, because it's not the most applicable. Now, there's two caveats to that. There are some robotic type tools like, in the US, a lot of people have these Roomba vacuums, and the Roomba is the little circle vacuum, and a lot of people put googly eyes on them, and they're kind of like a pet, but they go around and they vacuum for you. And I actually know people who are vacuuming. They like to have a clean floor, and they're vacuuming, and they're spending, say, an hour a week or 2 hours a week vacuuming. And then they're doing the math and they're saying, well, that's 100 hours a year I'm vacuuming. Why don't I just get a Roomba? I'm going to pay $200 and I'm going to save 100 hours. That's $2 an hour. That would be like paying myself $2 an hour to vacuum. I can do things that will bring in more than $2 an hour with those hours. So that actually makes sense. Okay, so that's an example of using robotics or a robot of some kind to eliminate load. I guess not eliminate, but automate. It eliminates it for you, but it's automated. It's still happening. Now, additionally, I will point out that what we would call humanoid robotics are becoming more and more advanced, like every day at this point. It's shocking to see how quickly robotics are advancing. And like with anything, when you take something that used to be in the academic sphere only and private corporations like tech companies begin to get their hands on it, it is no longer theory. And those tech companies begin to offer them for sale, which they already are to a lot of, we'll probably say manufacturing type companies where they have warehouses. And over time, the exact rationale I'm telling you is it is less expensive to buy a $200,000 humanoid robot than it is to pay two people that it would take to do its job for a year. And that may be the case for some factories and things. And so what do? They replace the workforce with robotics. And so as companies compete for that market, the price of the technology comes down, and that will happen. And a lot of these robotics companies are essentially saying, yeah, it's only a matter of time until everybody in the developed world is going to have a humanoid robot in their house. And when you think about this, that's pretty crazy, because especially when you see that they're already integrating AI into these things, what can you have this thing do? Anything. When they have that level of technology and it's already coming out, that's very impressive. You have a robot cooking for you. My wife spends 3 hours a day, 2 hours a day cooking for kids and me. And that could be, if she doesn't want to do it, that could be eliminated. And that's 14 hours a week that she gets back and can focus on counseling people. She has a master's in counseling. And so you can see very quickly, if the trajectory of technology continues and you have more options that are affordable for people on the robotic front, that we can be optimizing our lives and eliminating a lot of tasks that we might not otherwise have. Now, again, that's still a little bit into the future, but there are some basic tools like these Roomba vacuums and other similar things that can be used to automate tasks as well. So that ends this section on reducing our load through automation. Emily, you have any thoughts or questions or comments?
Yeah, would you say it would be smart to start like projecting possibilities like with robots since like things are progressing rapidly?
Yes, I think that based on the acceleration, okay, what is good? Okay, so we're talking about contingency planning and looking into the future, to the the amount that our minds allow us to. God gave us our minds, so we'll use them. I think that the thing that is going to accelerate most rapidly is AI, and it is already doing that. It is much easier to optimize software than it is to optimize physical stuff. That's fairly difficult. But software can optimize very rapidly. And additionally, as artificial intelligence continues to get more intelligent, it will be able to optimize itself. And so the likelihood that AI and AI softwares are going to develop very rapidly is very high, in my opinion. And I work with, as you know, Emily, we work with AI all of the time, and the changes come weekly, if not daily. Now, robotics is going to require people to improve upon, and that will take some time. And additionally, it has to then hit the market on a very high price point. A lot of these Boston Dynamics robots are $200,000 or $300,000 to carry boxes around a warehouse. Well, it's going to take time for competitors to get in the market, to create their own supply. And then when the supply goes up, the demand will go down, so the prices will come down. And you're looking at, I don't know, probably a decade or more before people are really legitimately able to afford a humanoid robot like we can a smartphone. There would have to be some pretty serious advances. But when you think about scaling an artificial intelligence, it's software. It comes in through the wires, and you can get it for a nickel, which is exactly why we're using all of these AI tools here at ClickMill. So I think that we definitely want a contingency plan for AI up front, because that can change tomorrow. I'm literally waiting for updates within the next 30 to 60 days with some of these ChatGPT features, because I want to integrate them into our processes, and I already am pretty aware of what they're going to be. They've already spoken to that, but like, we're not going to have humanoid robots here in the office, like running the camera next week. So I would say we want to upfront look at the AI, and then probably consider off further in the distance, the horizon out there somewhere, uh, more of the robotic front. And depending on what you do, if it's digital, you probably aren't going to need robots. But if it's physical, and you have a business with a storefront, it may one day be less expensive to have the robotics than it does to hire actual people to do things. And that's something that may be the case further out. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, that does.
Great. Great question. All right. Thanks so much for being here. We'll see you in the next video.